Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We want to welcome you to the 8th edition of ACM Projects Presentation Night. For those who may not know, ACM Projects is a semester-long program dedicated to guiding students who are new to software development and to create their own app within a team environment. Tonight, we will be able to see the finished products. My name is Emily Lamb.
And I'm Jack Sheehan, and we are the co-directors of ACM Projects here at UT Dallas. And we'd like to state that we couldn't be here without our amazing team who have been supporting us since day one. So we want to thank our project managers who have worked really hard and truly gave their best efforts throughout the semester to help this experience memorable for every participant.
Hi, my name is David. I'm a junior at UTD and been with the project for over, I'm probably about 2 years now. I'm really excited to see all the work you guys have done. I know how much work you guys have been doing, and I'm really proud of all y'all. I will now pass it to Anushka.
Hi everyone, I'm Anushka Pimple. I'm a freshman majoring in computer science, and this is my first semester as a project manager, and I am the project manager for Precious Plants. A fun fact is that I actually got the idea for Precious Plants while traveling on a plane to Minnesota, so I am very excited to see how all the teams present and all of their ideas. I know how hard they've been working, so I'm very excited.
Hi everyone, I'm Ashish and I'm the PM for Trailblazers. I've been a PM for 3 semesters now, and I'm really excited to see what everyone's done this semester and present.
Hi everyone, my name's Adam. I'm a junior and this is my 3rd semester as a project manager for ACM. Unfortunately, it is my last, so I'm really hoping that my team for Excite can, go out with a bang.
Hi everyone, my name is Fanny. This is my first semester being a PM, and I am the PM for Team Frais. And I know this semester has been hard for everyone being online, but I'm still super proud of all the work everyone has done, and I'm really, really excited to see what awesome projects everyone has come up with.
Hey guys, I'm Katie. I'm a 2nd year computer science major. This is my 3rd and final semester as a PM with ACM Projects. This semester as a PM for Deadline, but I really love ACM Projects, and I'm just so excited to see what everyone has done today.
Hi everyone, my name is Francis. I'm the PM for Fortunate. This is my first semester as a project manager for ACM, but I was a participant last semester and I loved it so much, I decided to apply for the opposite position. Super excited to see everyone's projects this semester. And off to you, Hannah.
Thanks, Francis. Hi, y'all. I'm Hannah, and I'm the project manager for Fluent. This is also my first semester as a project manager. Fluent was inspired by my interest in learning a new language and also finding new friends to practice learning that language with. And I'm just super proud of my team for working really hard, bringing this idea to life, and I can't wait to see all the other projects, and I can't wait for y'all to see Fluent's project.
Hi guys, my name's Jeshna. I'm a sophomore in computer science, and this is also my first semester as a PM. I'm the PM for GoHire, and I'm very, very proud of my team and excited to see everyone else's projects as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jocelyn. I am a freshman student studying computer science and music. I am the PM for musical chess, and it's been a super great pleasure this semester working with participants who are willing to combine chess and music and coding to make something awesome. So I hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam. This is my 3rd semester as a PM and my last semester at UTD. Thank you all for coming out. I hope you enjoy the projects. All of our participants worked really hard on them, and I know they're going to be great. So thank you all for a wonderful time in ACM.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan, and I'm currently a sophomore CS major, and I'm the project manager for ArtBlock. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone for coming out tonight, and I'm very excited for everyone to see what we've been working on this semester.
Next, we would like to introduce and thank our industry mentors who have graciously volunteered their time outside of work every week to help our team succeed and learn more about the tech industry. Huge shout out to them for mentoring and impacting the careers of our aspiring tech professionals. First, we have David from Southwest Airlines advising ArtBlock, Hannah from Citi advising Frais, Alex from AT&T monitoring Deadline, and Enyi from Televet coaching Precious Plants. We also have Jason from Citi advising musical chess, Tuan from Paycom mentoring Collector, Viraj from Walmart coaching GoHire, and Evan from Southwest counseling Fortunate.
We have Ashley from Apple advising Trailblazers, Schlock from Intuit mentoring Commodity, Ritika from Goldman Sachs mentoring Fluent, and Sid from AT&T counseling Excite. So before we get to the presentations, we want to introduce and give a special thanks to the judges for coming out and volunteering tonight. We definitely could not make presentation night what it is without them. It's kind of like a little Shark Tank here. Jason Smith is a senior lecturer here at UTD. He's the director of the Computer Science Mentor Center, and in 2019, he received the Eric Johnson School Outstanding Teaching Award. Jessica Westland is an experienced campus recruiter for the software engineering program at JP Morgan Chase. She's been in our judging panel for many consecutive editions of ACM Projects, and we are extremely grateful to her for being a huge proponent of projects. Last but not least, John Cole is a senior lecturer at UTD, and he's been teaching here full-time since the fall of 2012 after teaching part-time at Collin College and UTD. Professor Cole is the ACM faculty sponsor and has been hugely supportive of ACM and ACM projects, and he's also regular on our judging panels every semester. Judges, we've sent you links to Google Sheets where you can keep track of the team scores and take notes. Your scores will be automatically tallied in an admin sheet, so there's no need to report any scores to us.
Now, the moment you all have been waiting for, we feel the excitement and anticipation already. Each team will be given 6 minutes to present, followed by 2 minutes where the judges will be free to unmute themselves and ask any questions they want. Project participants can also ask questions in the Zoom chat, which we will read out if there's time permitting. We'll kick off tonight's presentations with Team Fluent.
There are many ways to learn a language. Some examples of learning a language are through applications such as Duolingo or through language learning apps. But one of the most effective ways to learn a language is through actual usage of the language or communication of the language. However, not everyone is fortunate enough to understand, to know a person who is fluent in a language that they want to learn. And that's where our app Fluent comes into play. Fluent is a socially based language learning mobile app that allows you to connect with users who you would want to learn with. Now to our Fluent developer team. We have Alex and Gary on backend, and we have me, Gabe, and Laura on our front end team. Now with Alex on the tech stack of our project.
So for the front end of our app, we decided to choose Flutter to speed up our development. Because we only had 10 weeks to build the app, the smaller learning curve and many built-in widgets made it stand out. For the backend, we decided to choose Firebase, again to speed up development and because it has many useful features. Authentication, file storage, and a live updating database service were all integral for Fluent's core features, which Gary will talk about now.
So for our app, we keep it simple yet effective. This led us to our 3 core features. The first feature we have is user authentication, which is a tool from Firebase and allows for us to have a secure way to log in, sign out, or create accounts while being able to properly store that user's data. The second feature we have is our matching algorithm, which allows users to find other learners based off their preferred language choice and fluency. This also allows for us to have a simple and quick way to meet new potential learning partners by allowing them to send likes or dislikes at the click of a button. The final feature we have is our chat functionality, which enables users to communicate and learn how to read and write in the language they're trying to gain more exposure. Now I'll pass off to Laura to give you guys a demo, which will showcase these more in depth.
It's time to see our app in action. Here we have 2 users, Emily and Jack. Both are Korean learners and both want to use Fluent so that they can learn together. Now Emily's about to log in with her email and password. And once she gets to the match page, she either has the option to match with whoever the algorithm is considered to be a good match for her based on her language and how fluent she is in that language, or she could look up someone specific. And to match with that user, all you have to do is press the like button. Now, if you take a look at Jack's screen, you see that he just received a request from Emily. And if he wants to, he could take a look at her profile to get a little bit more information about her before he decides to match with her. Now they're going to be chatting with each other. See that Emily's received a new match from Jack. And since they're both Korean learners, Emily decides to start off with a little bit of a Korean phrase, 안녕하세요, which is hello. And Jack is going to follow that with a hello, how are you? Now, what if Jack isn't how he seems? And what if Emily doesn't really want to interact with him anymore? Well, she has the option to block him. Blocking a user will completely take them off the inbox page from both sides. So what if Jack notices this and he wants to try to match with her again by searching up her name on the match page? No matter how many times he presses the search button, he's not able to match. But what if Emily decided, I judged him too prematurely. I think I'm going to go ahead and match with him again. She can always do that by searching him up and pops up. But what if Emily doesn't even want to learn Korean anymore? What if she wants to learn a different language? Well, she has the option to change that in her edit profile page, along with other things such as her bio and her name. Now I'm going to pass it off to Alex and Gabe to talk about our roadblocks.
Throughout our development of our app, it was definitely not smooth. There were roadblocks. So some of the front-end roadblocks that Laura and I encountered was the basic routing of our pages, and that is to let each page appropriately flow into the next page.
Then for the backend, near the beginning of development, we spent some time evaluating various chat APIs, but we had trouble finding one that fit our needs. A lot of them were SMS, physical, like texting based, but we needed an internet-based chat. So we decided to develop our own simple one using Firebase. Then later, Google Cloud started randomly locking us out with really unhelpful errors like your API key is expired or your device was blocked. We eventually figured out it was a configuration error, and once we fixed it, development went smoothly from there. Next, we'll go back to Gary to talk about what's next for Fluent.
Yeah, so we have 3 main stretch goals that we're super excited to incorporate into our app. The first stretch goal is live video and voice chat, along with the ability to schedule meetings to give a more professional sentiment. This will allow users to not only learn how to read and write in a foreign language, but also allow for them to learn how to speak and properly pronounce words. The next stretch goal we have is an extension from Firebase machine learning, which is on-device translations. This will allow to further close the gap between learners of different fluencies, as users will be able to translate from their native to foreign language or vice versa, and help them in communicating phrases they have yet to learn. The final stretch goal we have is to create a more in-depth way of classifying user fluencies and improving our matching algorithm, especially as we scale. This will allow us to establish a more concrete definition between differing fluencies and continue to improve the quality of our matches.
Thank you so much for letting us present. Now let's get Fluent together. Do you guys have any questions, the judges?
Judges, you can feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question.
Sure. So I'll hop in and just first say I love the idea. This is great. I think anyone who's trying to learn a language, it's fine to read a textbook or just play, a little game by yourself. But sometimes you have to stretch and talk to other people. I guess one thing that I'm curious about, and I believe from what we were looking at, it does say like your first and last name, and in here we have the ability to block someone if, like we said, Jack was not being nice to Emily and we need to get him out of here. But will it display her first and last name so he can like find her on LinkedIn or anywhere else? Or do you have the ability to change, I guess, your name or what you would like to be called on the app too?
So for the name parameter, you're able to put whatever you want, first and last name. For our demo, we just put first and last name. But you're also just able to put your first name or even like a username if you would like to stay more anonymous.
Great. Jack, we're watching you. Just kidding.
So for this app, even though it's supposed to help you learn a language, it seems like you already need to know the language before you use it. Is that correct?
So Fluent is not designed to be the only language learning resource that you use. It is definitely true that you have to already know at least some of the language before you can use it. Fluent is designed to be a addition to traditional language learning like classes or textbook or something like Duolingo, because those are good for letting you get into it, but they don't let you practice very well. And so Fluent is designed to fill that gap.
Okay, and that's all the time we have for questions for Fluent. Thank you so much. And next up, we have Collector. If you could start sharing your screen.
Good evening, everyone, and this is Project Collector. My name is Adi Bandari.
I'm Brian Matthew.
I'm Michael Kempner.
I'm Moget Nadi, and our project manager is Sam, and our industry mentor is Tuan.
I personally really enjoy collecting Pokemon cards, but unfortunately, my collectible experience is confined to 2 platforms. StockX is a very robust marketplace, but unfortunately, it does not allow me to connect with members of my community. Reddit, on the other hand, is a community-based social media platform, but placing orders have to go through a middleman, which would be unsafe. That's why we at Collector revolutionized the collectible experience by creating a marketplace and social media platform combined into one unit. Let me pass it over to Brian to give you a rundown of what being a collector is like.
So now we're going to move on to a quick demo of our product. This first video is going to walk you through the process of posting a product on the website. The first thing you're going to do when you get a product is get the product and take a picture of it. Then you're going to head to our website and log on. As soon as you log on, you're going to get taken to our homepage, and you'll see in the top right-hand corner, there'll be a golden plus button, and you can click it and it'll take you to the create a new listing page. Here you're going to get asked about the title, the price. You're going to get asked to upload an image and write a description just like you would on eBay or any other e-commerce site. And you're also going to get asked a few drop-down questions about the item condition, the category, the shipping options, and all that stuff, just so that there's no confusion between the buyer and the seller about what the product is and what it entails. And also so that our filters can sort through all the products easily and find the best product for the buyer. And then you're just going to click the sell item button and your product should be instantly added to our website. As you can see here, the Merfolk Falconer just got added.
All right, so we've seen how you post an item to Collector, but let's see how it works on the other side. So if we go to my profile, we can see that I've got a really nice collection here. I've got some stuff I'm really proud of, but it's not complete without a Merfolk Falconer. So let's go to the home page, get on the search bar, and find one. And would you look at that? There's one right here. So let's take a look at it. This is nice. Wow, I can't believe it. I got to ask him where he found this. Nice card, bro. How did you get it? Question mark. Add reply. So, maybe he'll get back to me later. And actually, look, he's online right now. Just got it super lucky. Well, that settles it. I'm getting it before somebody else does now that I got his attention. So we'll put it in the cart and we'll just go straight to checkout. And thanks to the Stripe API, which is processing our payments, we can anyone can pay very easily. Just fill out your basic information, email, card information, all that. Don't worry, this isn't my real one. And the name on the card, and of course your zip code. And that's all there is to it. Just click pay, and that's all it takes to be a collector.
All right, so now that you've seen our demo, let's talk about how we did it. So for the front end, we're mainly using React, Material UI. And for our back end, we're using the Stripe Payment API, Redux, Firebase, and Firestore. So onto Redux. So on the screen on the right, what we have here is kind of an overview of what we see in the Redux storage. And we use Redux because it's a global storage system and it makes it easy to communicate between components. So the search bar, as you saw in the demo when we were searching for a listing, was actually filtering the items in the Redux storage, and the home page was retrieving those filtered items. And that's what we were seeing. So now onto Firebase and Firestore. So it's a real-time database where Firebase handles user authentication, as we saw when Brian was logging in, and it also stores images as well, which we saw when Brian was creating a new listing. And Firestore stores the information of each listing and each comment, each user's profile information and cart. And with the cart, when we go to checkout, we send the information to the Stripe's payment API and the user is able to securely check out.
We had a lot of fun creating Collector, but it didn't come without its roadblocks. We went through 2 design processes: fetch, assign, and render, and input, upload, and post. Occasionally, we'd be assigning before completing a fetch, leading to an incomplete render. And inversely, we'd be posting before completing an upload. But we overcame both of these roadblocks by inserting delay mechanisms to ensure each part of the process was complete, leading to a fully complete product.
So we've seen some good features today, but we still have some more plans for down the road. We'd like to implement TCG Player's pricing API, so that way anyone who's selling any kind of trading card, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Pokemon, doesn't matter, can get a real-time market trend on it so they can know the exact value of what they're placing. We'd also like to put in suggested content by analyzing user search patterns, previous purchases, etc., to tell our users what else they might like that they might not know is on Collector. And finally, we'd like to get a centralized forum so people can discuss all their favorite things without needing to just go to the comment section of a specific item.
We'd like to give a special thanks to the judges and a particular thanks to Sam and Tuan. Without their guidance, this project would not be complete. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions here. So in the video, when you took the picture on your phone of the card, does that automatically send that to the website?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you there. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, so when you, in the video you showed where you took the picture of the card, does that automatically send the picture to the website?
Yeah, oh, automatically, yes. So we have to wait for the image to finish uploading to our Firebase. And then once we retrieve the link, we then redirect you to the home page to ensure that, yeah, the image was uploaded before creating the listing document within our Firebase collection.
So basically that image, the photo is associated with an account on the system?
I'm sorry, you were cutting out. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, so the photo is associated with an account?
Yes, the photo is associated with an account. Well, it's tied to the listing, yeah. And we tie that listing to the account, so yes, through nesting.
And when you have a comment that's given on an item for sale, does the person that posted the listing, do they get an email notification?
Unfortunately, we don't have notifications implemented. We were focused on getting the comments implemented in the first place. That's an addition we could make later on. Any further questions?
Hi, a quick question.
Hello.
I didn't catch exactly what it is or like the parameters between what you can sell on the site. Is it just cards? Is it any collectible?
Oh, that's the best part. It could be any collectible. We actually recently added NFTs to the collection mainly as a joke, but baseball cards, trading cards, instruments, clothing as well. Yes, we have a lot of categories. And thanks to Redux, we're able to filter them out and search for them individually.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
One last quick one, I hope. Security. You are taking credit card numbers. Are you storing those, or are those one shot?
No, sir. So that is through Stripe, and we left it up to them. Although we could do everything in-house, Stripe not only expedites the process, but it would take off the load as far as handling security. We wouldn't want to store too much personal information of our users as far as that, especially with the time span that we had. I mean, if we were Facebook, sure we would, but we're not.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome job, guys. That's all the time we have for Collector. Congratulations. And then we'll go ahead and switch over to Trailblazers next.
Hi, can everyone see my screen? All right, we're Trailblazers, and before we begin, I'd like to introduce my team. On the front end, we have Kokil, myself, Nina, and on the back end, we have Yash and Chris. Now, come with me on a journey, and let's address the problem at hand. There's a widening disconnect with nature amongst Americans, what with our busy schedule, not to mention suburban and urban living, putting a physical distance between us and the great outdoors. Yet the desire to bridge that gap has never been higher, and what we're left with are a whole lot of aspiring adventurers who are frankly clueless and hesitant about exploring all the beauty and fulfillment nature has to offer. Here's where we present our solution, Trailblazers, an app that allows its users to find trails and nature spots near them, view trail information and accessibility, as well as save their favorite spots and routes for future adventures. Now we're going to turn down the front end path, and I'll pass it off to Kokil.
All right, so for our friend, we use Google's Dart programming language and specifically the Flutter framework. We chose Flutter for two main reasons. One was for its ability to be compatible with both iOS and Android devices, and the other was for its vast and varied selection of widgets, which can be easily built and arranged into anything you want. Now I'm going to pass it over to Yash, who will talk about backend.
All right, so for the backend, Trailblazers decided to use Firestore to store the data and Flask as a server-side framework. Since Trailblazers is an application that relies on constant updates to databases, we found Firestore to be extremely useful on the backend as a primary database. It proved to be very efficient in its usage as a dynamically updating database that auto-scales with every write and delete, as we would constantly have to update Trail's information in the database. Since there are not many APIs that currently serve the functionality required by our application, we depended on a lot of manual updates to our database. Firestore made it very easy to scale and debug the application because of the live synchronization feature provided by it. And now, Chris is going to lead us through the Flask part of the trail.
Flask is the software development kit that uses the Python language to retrieve data from the database and returns it to a server. Then the server acts as a bridge for the front end to access the data and display it on their screens. And so this trail data that we're talking about includes not only the trail name, but also the trail's location and other necessary information such as if it has restrooms or not. And so what we used was a math-based algorithm to display that data for 8 closest trails based on the user's current location. And now it seems like our hike has gone through some roadblocks. And so to get into the roadblocks, the biggest roadblock that we had was finding a library and API that had the trail data for all trails in the entire US. And so Trailforce is a company that offers this, but we have yet to hear back from them. And so what we did was found a public data set of all the trails that happen to be in Lake County, Florida. And so this was presented in a CSV format, which is kind of like an Excel table with rows and columns. And we were able to upload this into the database to use for our app. Now let's see all these technologies integrated into our demo.
All right, so now we're going to show you some features of our app. And first, we're going to start with our login, which we used Firebase for authentication. Now, if the user entered valid information, they are immediately redirected to the trail page, where we list the trails closest to the user's current location. The users can also click on each individual trail to receive more information, such as the trail address, trail description, and the trail rating. The user is also able to rate the trail located on a map, as well as having the ability to bookmark the trail. The user can see all their bookmark trails in a dedicated bookmark page. Finally, we have our profile page where users can edit and modify account data, as well as change a variety of settings. If the user decides to no longer use our service, they can even delete their account, which will remove all their data from our database for privacy reasons. Now I'm going to pass it over to Yash, who will talk about future plans.
Have you ever imagined driving far out for a little adventure to only get turned down by bad weather? Well, Trailblazers aims to combat this simple yet very real problem by providing a feature displaying the real-time weather at the desired destination. Another feature Trailblazers is working on implementing is one actually not handled by mainstream navigation applications like Google Maps or Waze. This feature incorporates a way to make various outdoor activities a lot more accessible by allowing us to implement a self-reporting model in which a user can report distinct landmarks they encounter on a trail, such as restrooms, drinking fountains, local scooter rentals, and many more. Users of Trailblazers will also have the opportunity to filter trails by road texture, dog parks, etc., which can really improve the overall experience for the user. We will also support off-the-grid activities by providing a way for the user to create his own custom trail. Finally, Cookhill will walk us down the business model trail.
All right, so our current business model involves a standard account, which every user who registers for our service will get. The standard account allows users to comment on trails, rate trails, and have up to 4 unique trails as bookmarks. Now, if they like our service, they can upgrade to the premium account, which allows for them to have unlimited bookmarks, have an ad-free experience, and it only costs $4.99 a month. That's our business model, and that concludes our wonderful trek. Now we would like to open the floor to any questions anyone has.
So when you talk about bookmarks, are you thinking of tagging a specific trail?
Could you repeat that? We couldn't hear you.
So when you have a bookmark, is that tagging a specific trail?
Yes. So basically, what we have on the back end is basically we have like an array that stores all the trails that a user has bookmarked. So if the user bookmarks the first 2 trails like we did in our demo, those two trails will be immediately marked and associated with that user. So every time the user logs in and goes into their bookmark page, those two trails will appear.
Okay. I assume they can change bookmarks.
What? Sorry.
I assume they can change bookmarks.
Yes, you can change bookmarks. All you have to do is go back, click on one of the bookmarks, and then press the bookmark button again, and that will unbookmark your trail. So that way you can add a different bookmark.
All right, I've got a question for you. So $4.99 a month feels kind of expensive for an app. I think we all are so used to free apps and fine, you get some ads. What do you feel like that monthly fee would be like going towards? Is there upkeep? Is there data that you're needing? Or is this right, just like, hey, we're making some money, give me $5 a month?
So some of the fees, and this is expected to change when we upscale our app, but some of the fees is for maintaining our server and our database. Some of the fees are the fees to have a no ad experience, because standard account users will have ads and that will make us money. And then a little less, and then the leftover is some profit that we make.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll end it there with Trailblazers. Thank you so much for your hard work. And next up is commodity.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Commodity. Before we get into the app, we'd just like to introduce ourselves. Aman.
I'm sorry. My name is Mama Panjwani, and I worked on the front end.
My name is Sri Ramella, and I also worked on the front end.
My name is Samir, and I worked on the back end.
Hi there. My name is Abhishek, and I also worked on the back end.
So in 2017, USC conducted a study based on different traits of different homeless demographics. And one thing they discovered was that around 85% of homeless adults have access to an Android smartphone. So we at Commodity decided to, in response, develop an app that would help connect resource seekers and resource providers alike. Now, let me give you a brief overview. So first, it'll start with users logging in with their email. And then once they log in, they'll be able to use the search functionality in order to search for specific locations. And then after that, they'll be able to locate specific resources such as gas stations, doctors, et cetera, near the specified location. Additionally, within their general vicinity, they'll just have markers on the map where they can locate random resources nearby, like their homes or wherever they are. And finally, they'll also be able to access hotlines from our ever-growing database of just different phone numbers that they might need going forward. Now I'll pass it off to Abhishek for the demo.
So here we have Samir, who is one of our registered users from the registration. And now, as you can see here, he's going to log into the app by entering his email and password. Please, no one hack him. After he's done logging in, he's going to enter the commodity app, which will ask him for his location access. And after he accepts it, he's now into the commodity app. Here we're just going to look to the profile page to get some information. And now on the hotline page, we can see all the hotline, which provide information for any and all resources. On the resource map, we can see various shelter locations, which we can click on and get the shelter name and also a phone number to maybe contact them about vacancies and any other positions to fill in those. But let's say we want to go somewhere and get a resource there. I don't know, we'll go to UTD. And we can go to that place by using the search bar feature of Commodity. And we can click with an easy click of a button, we can get resources such as doctors, ATMs, and etc. to pop up. We can click the markers to actually get information about maybe the doctors that there or the type of hospital, and also get other various detailed information.
So a part of the tech stack that we use Firebase, which is a Google backend application development software that allowed us to hold the user's data as well as any other data needed for the front end's utilization. Using a NoSQL database format, we added our own data and extracted it when it was necessary. We used Flutter, which is Google's SDK for crafting mobile, web, and desktop applications, and is what our entire front end is built upon. We use Beautiful Soup, which is a Python package that enabled us to scrape location data from various websites to then put it into Firebase for the front end's use. And we use the Google Maps API ability, which gave us the ability to get current user location and utilize its functions in order to show where the resources such as food banks, shelters, etc. are located. We use the Google Places API to generate markers in any search location and use the Google Autocomplete API to generate search locations. We ran into a couple errors. However, these were the ones that we learned from the most. First was data collection. As Python was not under the app description, we wanted to go above and beyond to utilize a Python package that web scrapes data for us. The challenge was web scraping the data in a Firestore friendly format in order to be later utilized by the front end. Second was data extraction. This was our first time working with APIs, working with one of the more data intensive APIs in Google Maps. It was a challenge getting the autocomplete and places API to have the correct endpoint so that we can send the request and get the data and then work with an updating data set to place those markers. Third, we ran into normal integration problems as anyone would of the front end and the back end and had to sit for hours explaining to each other how our own code worked as to help everyone understand each other's code and have everyone contribute to the whole integration process.
So what's next for commodity? So we're looking to add a registration option specific to nonprofit organizations where they'll be able to register to the commodity app and they'll be able to put themselves on the map and send out announcements to users in an announcements page, and the users will be able to see the resources occurring or resources regarding the organization. And second, we're looking to add a feature where users should be able to get directions to the locations they've pinpointed on the map. And third, we're trying to expand the number of locations and the markers to like different counties. And so that more areas will be covered on the map and more resources could be found. And that's our future goals. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
I have a question. So when you're typing in a location and the list of, I think like amenities or whatever's around pulls up, one of the choices was doctor. Does that pull up just any random doctor's office that's around? Does that pull up someone who maybe like subsidizes their cost for the needy? Or is it just like scraping and pulling up any doctor office that's in that location?
So currently, that button will give you the nearest doctor. But one of the goals that we were trying to implement and we look forward to is to have doctors who want to who subsidize their costs, like you said, they can sign up with the app. And so when you will click that doctor button, the first emphasis or priority will be given to those doctors.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Oh, do you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So there was a problem before. Okay, so a question about the search on the map. How does that differ from what most map programs already offer?
Can you repeat that question?
How does your map functionality differ from any other map application?
Yeah, so we think the biggest distinction between like maybe just your generic like Google Maps and commodity is like the ability to categorize. So for example, with all the options we had, ATM, gas station, etc., right? These are very hyper specific categories that we've tailored to like people are like to like specifically like resources that we think that low income individuals might be in need of. So we think like categorization is probably the biggest like distinction. But yeah.
And I would like to add to that normal Google Maps does not showcase shelter locations. Shelter locations are very minute and descriptive. And so for that, we had to actually go out and get our own shelter locations. So that is something also our app offers, a local and more regional access to location that you might not find on more global maps like Google Maps.
All right, thank you so much for commodity. That's all the time we have, unfortunately. But next up, we have precious plants.
Hello, can you see my screen? Okay, cool.
Hi, we're Precious Plants, and we're excited to share. Oh, what is that? Is there an echo? Or is that just me?
I think you're good now.
Okay, my bad. Okay. Hi, we're Precious Plants, and we're excited to show you what our app has to offer.
Hi, I'm Aditi. I'm on the front end team.
And I'm Naomi. I'm also on the front end team.
I'm Devaney, and I'm on the back end.
And I'm Renmai. I'm also on the back end team.
We also can't forget to mention Anushka, our PM, and Annie, our industry mentor. They've been a lot of help to us during this process. And now I'm going to pass it off to Renmai.
All right, with Precious Plants, we have certain features to make our app the best tool for your plant care. We want this app to arm you with the knowledge needed to take care of your plants. You'll be able to keep track of when to water your specific plants through a set of reminders, and you'll be able to mark your own progress in taking care of your plants and their growth. Now I will pass it on to Aditi, who will demo our app.
Okay, so this is our homepage. So over here, you can scroll through and look at the current plants that you have. And it also has a search bar where you can search up by species and find out more information. And then we have the notifications page, which you can just set reminders for yourself. And then after that, we have the save page. Over here, it's similar to the search bar, but you can bookmark these so that you can quickly refer to them later. And then we have our camera feature. So here you can just take pictures and upload them. Just another way to track your own plants. So going back to the features, the Save Plant feature allows you to save plants that you find on our app, and that way you can refer back to them later, and it'll have information about watering frequency, soil type, sunlight, and other environmental factors you need to keep in mind. The notifications page just allows you to add reminders for yourself about the same type of features, watering, soil, etc. And then we have the search bar. This allows you to just find pages that we have in our database about various species of plants and information about that. And then the camera feature allows you to upload pictures and track your own progress.
So for the front end, we chose to use Figma to make our wireframes because it's easy to work collaboratively with, and we chose to use Flutter, which is a framework to create mobile apps because it allows us to create friendly UI UX designs, and it also includes a variety of packages which help with additional features and added functionalities. And then Dart is just the language that we chose to work in because it's easy to learn for beginners and it's similar to Java. And for the front end, again, for achievements, we were able to create a home page and a save page, which allows users to save information about plants they're interested in, which provides a more customizable experience. And then the about page gives the user more useful information regarding regarding growing each plant. And through Flutter, we were able to create simple and organized layouts.
So with everything Naomi said, we were able to implement pages that were user-friendly and easy to navigate. We also went with a simple color scheme, so just green and white, easy on the eyes. And so the app also has several features, like Naomi mentioned, that make it customizable for the user's needs. So now I'm gonna pass it on to the backend team.
All right, so for the backend, we first started off by using Django. Django is a framework that helps create APIs, and through that, it's Python based. So we used Python while using Django. Finally, to create our own database for plant details and plant information, we use SQLite. So for the backend achievements, we had to research a variety of APIs to provide the desired information, such as sunlight, water, spacing information in general on how to plant your plants. We also had to create a database, since we couldn't find the desired API to provide this information. Now, because of this, the information we procured from the database allowed us to interface with the front end. Through the information, we are able to help the user take care of their plants. Now I will pass it on to Naomi, who will discuss the challenges we faced during the process.
So for the front end, we've had some difficulty working with different packages such as Image Picker and SQLite, most of which we solved through like just Google. And we also tried to find an API with the information we needed, as Mrunmai mentioned, but there wasn't one, so the backend team created a database instead. And with the information, and with integration, we researched different integration methods, and we decided to integrate through Flutter using SQLite so we could work with our database. And now I'm going to pass it off to Mrunmai to talk about our future goals for the app.
All right, so for the future goals, what we aspire to achieve later on is reverse image. So the user should be able to take a picture of any plant, and through an API, we should be able to get back what type of plant it is. We would also like to, in the future, implement a comment section so different users can leave different types of advice. And finally, a time capsule which displays the progress throughout the application, throughout the planting journey. Now, with this app, we want you to become the perfect parent for your precious plants. Now, I will open up the floor to your questions.
Okay, it's a cool app, but I have maybe 5 or 6 plants in here, most of which are survivors. I'll tell you that now. But does this scale up? Because, for example, I'm a fairly serious gardener. So obviously, the market I don't think is house plants. I think it's more people who have a lot of plants. So what about scaling up?
Actually, this is something we definitely considered. In our database, we have included plants such as tomatoes and money plants. And we are, since we ourselves are creating the database, we have to manually input the plants. And so our plan is to have more garden, more edible plants type of information in there as well.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, John, didn't mean to interrupt. On the notifications, does the app decide what those notifications are, or does the user decide?
It's more just like reminders for the user to set. It's just a place so that they're all available in one place. But yeah.
Okay, so the app doesn't say, "Hey, remember to water your money plant on Monday at 8 a.m. because it needs to be watered every 5 days or whatever."
Well, it would be something that you would have to set yourself.
Okay.
That way you can decide the day and time and all of that too.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Okay, that's all the questions, all the time we have for questions for Precious Plants. Thank you for all your hard work. And next up, we have musical chess.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Musical Chess. We're going to walk you through how we integrated music with chess game data. I'm your Grandmaster Monish.
I'm Grandmaster Nathan.
And I'm Grandmaster Siraj.
Your move, Grandmaster Nathan.
Here's a quick overview of our project. Our website selects a game that has already happened, and the game we're going to select right here is the game between Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen, an infamous game played at the Magnus Carlsen Invitational. As you can see, our website will load the game in and play out the moves and the music at the same time. Your move, Grandmaster Siraj.
All right, so here's how our project works. So move 1, the user will input a username from one of the 2 most popular online chess websites, leechess.org or chess.com. After that, our input is queried by our custom-made Flask API. In move 3, the API will calculate whether the move is good or bad using the Stockfish chess engine and assign scores to those moves. Move 4, the user will select a game from our sidebar. And finally, musical chess. So the user will press a button on our site and their game will start playing out live on a chessboard and the music will, will be played along with it. Your move, Grandmaster Nathan.
All right, now we're going to move on to the live demo. As you can see here, you enter your username. The username we're going to enter is ACM Musical Chess. Now you enter the month and year that you want to pull games from. Next you hit get chess.com games or get league chess games, depending on where you're pulling your games from. So right here, this is a chess.com account. So we're going to go ahead and pull from there. Now the games are loaded into this nice sidebar after they're processed by the backend. Let's say I want the 4th game. I'll just hit 4 and hit generate music. After that, you hit change board position in order for...
We can't see the demo.
All right, so here's where you enter the username, the month, and the year. You hit get chess.com games or get league chess games. The games are all loaded over here. And I hit 4 down here. Now I'm just going to hit change board position, and the moves and music will be played. And that's our live demo. On to you, Grandmaster Siraj.
So our tech stack is founded on the premise that our backend or baseline will support the melody of our front end or treble line. So on our front end, we've got Tone.js to generate the music, and we've got JavaScript for the chessboard and getting the data to display from the API. In our backend, we pull data from the chess.com and Leechess APIs, depending on the username. And after that, we aggregate the data into the Flask API, which we've created, and we calculate the Stockfish scores, whether the moves are good or bad or not there as well. Your move, Grandmaster Monish.
Even in this novel field of music and chess integration, we must still consider the potential of competition against our product. Based on our research, the greatest potential we found was a formula we found in ChessBase, an online chess forum. Developed by Dionysios Marinos, this formula converts chess moves into musical notes to emulate an arrangement of a musical piece. Even so, we believe that our product is better because 1, our product is based on a quality of moves in a given instance using Stockfish, as opposed to a Marinos algorithm that is based solely on the movements of each chess piece. And 2, our product is also developed with a functioning front end with a user interface to depict the chess moves, while Marinos did not develop an accessible product. This is not only the case with Marinos' algorithm, but also for other competitors we explored. Your move, Grandmaster Nathan.
This project wasn't all fun and games. One challenge we had was making the pieces move on the front end. This was a problem because all the pieces were moving instantaneously. So what we did was we had the program sleep for 1 second, so there was time in between moves.
Unfortunately, we lost 2 members of our group. As a result, my partners and I had to go from working on a facet of a project, of the project, to working on multiple parts or becoming full stack. It was a challenge, but we learned a lot from this and we overcame these difficulties.
Another problem that we had was that some variations of chess on chess.com, such as 4-player chess and atomic chess, do not have PGNs, which is a list of moves and other information that we need for our website to work. So we had to ignore those variations in our API. And finally, castling was an issue because the APIs only provided us the king's move for castling, even though castling is a move where the king and the rook move simultaneously. So in order to fix this, we had to inject the rook move into our API right after the king move so that castling would display. Your move, Grandmaster Nathan.
For future development, I would have liked to add more synths. Right now, we only have one synth playing all the chord progressions. Adding more would lead to a greater variety of music, and that would just be more entertaining for the users. I would have also liked to research better chord progressions in the sense that they have more chords. Some examples of this would be diminished seventh chords and 7 chords. This way, the user will have an easier time understanding which set of chords were played for the good moves and which set of chords were played for the bad moves.
Another feature we would have liked to have added were live games. So we would like to add a feature where 2 people can play chess on our website and have the music be generated as they're playing.
And that's Checkmate, Grandmasters. Thank you guys for listening to our presentation, and we will now be taking questions.
How do you determine what note is played?
Yeah, so we play different chords, and those chords, we determine that based on how good or bad the move is, based on the Stockfish score evaluation. So if the move is bad, you're more likely, or you will get a minor chord of some kind, and if your move is good, you'll get a major chord of some kind.
So just love the theme, the hats, like good for you guys for dressing up and just, you know, leaning into it. Love that. I guess so for a non-chess player, someone like myself, some of this didn't totally make sense to me because I'm like, oh, how do you have your login, your username? So can you clarify too, are you using your personal games that you've played to hear the music and like determine the score, or were we bringing in like famous games and it's determining how that played out?
Yeah, so we pulled from 2 of the biggest chess websites, chess.com and Lichess. We use their APIs in order to pull games. So users who have created accounts on there will enter their username and the month and the year they want, and then the games are loaded into the sidebar, and they can just choose from there.
Okay, so I could, if I'm playing chess on chess.com, like I could put my own game in here and just see how
exactly, yeah.
Yep. Okay, awesome.
Yes, and that's fully functional as well.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan to add more instruments or any type of rhythm to this?
Yeah, so right now we only have one synth playing, or something like an instrument, a synth, right? So it's playing all the chord progressions. For future development, I would have liked to add more synths because, you know, those can be instruments, and that would have just made the music have a lot more variety. It'd be a lot more interesting to listen to, so.
All right, awesome. That's all the time we have for questions. And next up will be GoHire.
Hey guys. Sorry. Can you see the screen? All right. Hey guys, this is GoHire, an application tracker that's designed for college students. Make your first step simple with us.
And this is our team. On the front end side, we have Leon, Eric, and myself, Moise. Then on the back end side, we have Ved and Ria.
It's application season again. Oh, my inbox is going to be flooded with job emails. My application information is going to be scattered across everywhere, and there's no way to organize them. I'm super stressed. And what's even worse, I'm also confused. I don't know even the status of even half the applications that I applied for. And what company goes to me?
And it's very easy to be able to develop new features based on our requirements.
For the backend, we use Firebase. Firebase granted more functionality in incentives such as Firestore and user authentication, which was very necessary for our app. Both of these frameworks, React and Firebase, led us to creating GoHire. Some of our main features includes the add card page. The add card and the sort by function and the statistics page. Eric will now go into more detail about the features in the demo.
All right, so I'm going into the GoHire live demo. And since it's live, I'm going to go to our actual homepage. And first you see the sign up and login functions. And here you see the forgot password. And for the sake of time, I'm going to use an account that we already have set up. And what the user first does is go into the add card page. And here I'm going to ask for live audience participation and ask for Emily to give me a company that you once were or are interested in applying to and with the position.
Let's go for a Google intern.
Google intern. All right. So we put Google as the company name, today's date as the date applied. Position, we put intern. I can spell. Status is pending because we don't know yet. And for the other attributes, we'll search up Google intern. And we'll find maybe step intern. And then we'll find the relevant information. Since there's a lot of dates in multiple locations, we just put various for the location. Salary wage is 0 because it depends on the actual interview. Company contact and application number, we leave them blank because it depends on the actual application. And for the description, we just copy and paste something from the website. Right here. And now I can see Google on the homepage. The next thing I want to talk about is the notifications. The notifications displays applications that are applied around 2 weeks ago. And we want to make sure our users are notified at appropriate times so they can check up with their companies. Next is the statistics. So this displays accepted, rejected, negotiating, pending counts for all the applications that you added, so our users know where they stand on their applications. Say you want to search up the application that you just added. You can search by company name, so Google. You can also search by position, so intern. And as mentioned before, there's a sort by feature. So sort by source by most recent to least recent, company A to Z, and salary high to low. And say you want to see everything in just one block, you can view it in the list view. And then say you want to change your application status, you can change it from pending to accepted. And now you can see the green check mark. And once you're done with the application, you can just delete it. And once you're done, you can sign out.
Now, as for our competitors, Trello and Excel can be utilized to track your applications, but our most prominent rival is Hunter, a dedicated service for organizing your job search. To stand out, we know our target audience because it's students like us. So when compared to a site like Hunter, we provide more storage for the dozens of applications a student may have. And GoHire is super simple to get into since we know users won't like wasting their time on learning the functionalities. Finally, unlike Trello and Hunter, who charge $10 to $20 monthly for full access, GoHire is free because a typical college student shouldn't have to spend money where they don't need to.
So we definitely had some challenges, and for front end, our main issue was regarding the UI UX. So our problem was after getting some potential criticism from potential consumers, we realized that the design wasn't really that clean to the user and it didn't really mirror the functionality the way we wanted it to. So our solution was to simply head back to our Figma or our drawing board and change up all of our wireframes and or designs and change the code accordingly.
And for the backend, one issue we had was unnecessary database access. Initially, our code would call the remote database every time the homepage was reloaded, and those calls would start costing money, and we didn't want that. So our solution was to store some of the collections locally in some situations, and that would thus reduce the database access.
For future implementations, our team wanted to include web scraping accessibility. With this, users will be able to search for images to develop a customizable and detailed display of their grid view cards.
And while we want all the basic functionality to be free for every user, we're also considering a premium version called GoHire Plus. It would provide more advanced statistics, insightful statistics, and more advanced functionality.
And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening. We want to give a big thanks to our PM Jeshna and our mentor Viraj. And next time you want to track your job search, check out GoHire to make your first step simple. Are there any questions?
You talked about storage. What exactly are you storing?
So when the user creates their application, like they enter their application information, what we do is store that information in the Firebase, in our Firestore database. So it stores all of the application information and it will eventually show up on the web page once they add it.
So with the free storage, I mean, how big is that? Let's say one application, how big is that? on your server. Is that like a kilobyte? Are we talking a gigabyte? How big?
So I think it was about 1 megabyte. Definitely, it wasn't too much because I mean, if you noticed, there really isn't much to put in it. It's just a couple of basic information. So we didn't want to allow the user to put too much in data or information, so that way they don't take up more space than what they need to, ultimately allowing us to keep that storage kind of minimal, so we can allow more the user to input more applications as they desire.
Okay, so, oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I love the idea, right? Being a recruiter, right? Sometimes this hurts my heart when I know you guys have like 800 applications open, right? To get that one internship, but I know it's a thing, and I've seen everybody's Excels and how, intricate it has to be. And I think this is great, right? To have that place to track, kind of keep up and follow up with things. And I mean, honestly, when we're talking about the data and what do you do if it's supposed to be free, I think at some point, if you were to ever scale this up, I'm sure companies would want to put an ad on there or like, hey, here's why you should apply to, our internship or something. So I think there's always way to, to work around that to keep it free and kind of help the student. But again, I love this. This is a great idea.
Okay, quickly. Yeah, it is cool, but does that mean that when you apply?
Can we talk about love like we care about love? You know, I know, you know, yeah, yeah. Nothing burns like a cold day.
App that aims to help artists find inspiration for the next project.
When the user first launches ArtBlock, he or she is able to generate images by searching by query, color, or by uploading an image or taking a picture. The app then generates inspirational images based on the search, and the user can then either save the desired images or make a new search. The trending page allows the user to view high-quality, curated photos that are updated hourly and can be saved or discarded by the user. When moving on to the profile page of the app, the user is able to view all of their saved images. For the tech stack of our ArtBlock, our REST API was made by the backend team using Django, while the front end used Flutter to create the UI of the app. The Unsplash API was used to search for images specifically by color, while the Pexels API was used to generate the overall inspirational images.
For example, you can search by colors. Maybe you're feeling a little blue, or you want to see something green. Whatever color you choose, you can see images containing that color. Personally, I like this photo, so I'll save this one for later. You can also search using the camera icon, which lets you use an image through one of two ways. You can either take a photo yourself using your phone's camera app, like so, or the other option you have is to choose an image from your phone's gallery. So I'll choose this picture of a red strawberry, and you can see the photo shown here. When you search, you'll see images with similar colors to the one you chose. I like this image, so I'll save this one as well. And one more thing. To the left of the home screen, you'll find a stack of the latest trending photos. If you don't want to search yourself, you can swipe left to discard the current photo, or you can swipe right to save a lucky image for later. Now, if you're wondering where all our saved images went, let's take a look at the pin screen. All the images we've saved so far are right here on this screen, so that you can easily see your chosen sparks of inspiration the next time you launch the app.
All right, so some of the roadblocks that we faced while developing ArtBlock was saving images as pins, because we were having some technical difficulties with saving images to user accounts. So what we decided to do was to use this shared preferences plugin in Flutter, and we were able to write the data directly into the disk of the phone. Another roadblock that we faced was sort of implementing the reverse image search, as we originally planned to use the Cloud Vision API, but in order to be efficient, we decided to use the palette generator plugin from Flutter to collect the dominant color from the image and then send it to be searched. All right, so some of the ways that we want to further develop ArtBlock would be to provide an exploration feature that would make the user experience even better by having a curated recommendation algorithm to ensure that their interests are taken into consideration. Another feature that we want to use in order to foster community on our application is to develop a social media aspect by adding user accounts so artists can connect with each other on the application and possibly collaborate. We also want to include personalization features, so we want to give the user the ability to personalize the application to their liking. And lastly, we want to expand into other art mediums that may not be visual, like poetry, writing, and music. All right, thank you so much for listening to our presentation and exploring the world of art. And now we are opening up the floor to questions.
So on the trending photos, if you swipe left to get rid of it, is there any way to find that image again or like reset the stack?
I can answer this question. So yeah, once you discard an image from the trending page, it doesn't appear again. However, you can still look it up manually by typing, searching by query or searching by color. That image is still gonna show up there, but just for the trending, once you like discard it, it doesn't show up again.
If a user takes a picture, is that automatically added to your database?
I can take this one. So if the user takes a picture, this picture will be on the platform and will be solely used to search with the other APIs and the other pictures from the APIs. But currently, we do not offer the feature for the user to take a picture and upload it. But we do hope so in the future to sort of create that collaborative environment that we were talking about earlier.
So how do you get the photos that are in the database? Are those gathered from the website? I mean, gathered from the internet, or where do those come from?
They currently come from two of our APIs. So we have the Pexels API and the Unsplash API. We chose these APIs because they provide really high quality photos. And unlike something like Google Images, when you search, there's a lot of mixture and bad quality images. So this keeps us to keep a really high quality bar for our app.
All right, awesome. That's all the time we have for questions. Next up is Fortunate.
An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. We here at Fortunate couldn't agree more. Now you may be asking yourself, what is Fortunate? And that's a great question. Or is the screen not sharing?
Yeah, not presenting.
Perfect, thank you. Can you guys see it now?
Yep.
Perfect. So we'll begin today by telling you what Fortunate is. We'll then follow that up by explaining our front-end design process. We'll then tell you about our back-end functionality. And finally, we'll discuss some of the roadblocks we encountered during the project. So I'm going to pass it over to Ryan, who will tell you what Fortunate is.
Hey, thanks, Oliver. Hey guys, my name is Ryan Mills, and I'm a full-stack developer on Team Fortunate. The stock market is complicated. In recent years, stock trading has worked its way into mainstream media, but getting involved requires a lot of insider knowledge and comes with a lot of financial risk. People want to trade, but finding quality resources for entry-level investors is a big challenge, and many are left feeling intimidated and ejected before they can ever break into the market. That's where Fortunate comes in. Fortunate is a mock stock market that uses real market data to allow our users to buy and sell stocks using virtual currency. Users can learn the ropes, trade on the market, and track their earnings over time, all the while gaining real stock trading experience at zero risk to their bank accounts. Fortunate is divided into three major components. To start, users can learn the ins and outs of trading on the market by visiting Fortunate's curriculum pages, filled with approachable lessons written by our team and designed specifically for the app. Then there's our virtual market, where users can buy and sell stocks of Fortune 500 companies at the most recent prices pulled straight from the global market. After that, users can keep track of their progress in their user portfolio, which breaks down their overall performance, highlights recent trades, and showcases other important information about their investments. Together, these sections make for a comprehensive learning experience for anyone interested in trading for the first time or looking to brush up their skills and become a smarter investor. Now, I'd like to hand it over to Rupali to talk a little bit more about our front-end design work.
Thank you. I'm Rupali. I'm a front-end developer. And as Ryan mentioned, dealing with stocks and stock market is a really complex subject. So visualizing this data may help make this process a little easier. So we chose React.js as our main framework, as it fits our need of data visualization, which makes it easier for our end users to understand the concepts. And to further enhance this learning process, we use libraries like Material UI, which is highly customizable, and Chart.js to actually simulate the rise and fall of the stocks. And that's it for the front end. So I would like to hand it over to Nikita.
Thank you, Rupali. Hello, everybody. My name is Nikita, and I'm a backend developer for Fortunate. I'm going to talk a little about backend functionality. So for our database, we had a couple of different choices. We could use SQL-based MongoDB, Firebase real-time database, or Firebase Firestore. We decided to go with Firebase Firestore because it's a non-SQL database, which is more intuitive to understand in comparison to MongoDB. Also because it supports complex querying and sorting, and because it has important backend functionality, such as cloud functions and authentication. For backend API, we decided to go with Yahoo Finance API. There are different APIs that we could pull our market data from, but we decided on Yahoo Finance API because it allowed us more freedom with stocks we had to pull from it, and it presented data in a more convenient format. Now I'm going to pass it down to Caleb, who's going to talk a little bit more about the roadblocks.
So the development of our app was not a smooth ride. So some of the early problems that we ran into were API limitations. So in order to get the information for each stock, we had to query the Yahoo Finance API. But since we only had a free tier, we had a limited number of calls. So we had to find a clever solution to get around this limitation. In the future, we would like to actually use the Yahoo Finance API in real time, which would allow us to get the most accurate data and is more realistic for a user. For our database, we had to figure out a way how to store a bunch of data. So we had to store user information like what shares they had, how much cash they had, and we had to store it in a manner that was easy to access and to write to from our front end. And now I'll pass it to Oliver, who will talk about the front end.
The front end wasn't without our own issues as well. So in working with a lot of new technologies, we wanted to make sure we produced a product that was both modular, extensible, and readable. And so it took a lot of different versions to get to a point where we were happy with all three of these aspects of our product, but we were able to achieve that goal. So now that you know a little bit about our product, we're going to go ahead and show you a demo.
Oliver, the demos and the presentation.
Yeah, is it coming through? Oh, there
yeah.
it goes.
All right, there we go. So this is our homepage. So it will show you a lot of different, it shows you the different pages and as well as the login page. Login page allows you to authenticate and actually use the service. So this is a course page which will help the user learn the ropes of trading on the stock market, as well as a dictionary to help the user learn the terms. And on the trading page, a user can enter a ticker, which will show up on the left-hand side. And the graph is interactive, so the user can see exactly what price it is at the time. And then on the right-hand side, that is where the user will specify whether they want to buy, sell a stock, and which stock they would like to buy and sell. And then on the portfolio page, they will be able to see their performance over time, as well as what proportion of their user account is in cash or in stocks, as well as be able to see their recent transactions. Thank you, and we'll be taking questions now.
I have a question on the educational part of this, right? There was some information. So if somebody wanted to use the app, they can go learn more. Where are you guys getting that kind of information from?
I'll answer this one. I wrote it. All the curriculum that's currently on the website. We did our own research as a team. We created our own lesson plan that extends from the very, very basics of the stock market and extends further on later into how to analyze the market and how to invest wisely. The reason that we wanted to write our own curriculum for this was the stock market is very intimidating to get involved in. Often you're bombarded with a lot of noise and unnecessary information that you need to actually just get involved. So we want our app to be a good starting off point. So we give you everything you need to know and just everything you need to know so that it's super approachable and that you can jump right in after doing all your learning stuff.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
When you buy and sell stocks, how is that being handled? Is that through another API?
Okay, so how the buy and sell function works is first, our website sends information to our API, which then gets information from the Yahoo Finance API to check the price of the stock, and then it also communicates with our API to see if they can actually purchase it, like if they're within the trading day, as well as if they have enough money before actually processing the order.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you. Up next is Deadline.
Oh my God, guys, I'm so overwhelming with my side project and school project. Even though I try to do them partially every single day, but it seems like I can never complete it. I even forgot that we have a presentation due today. What should I do?
Don't worry, Lack, I got you. Let me introduce to you and everyone today, Deadline, your personal project manager. Deadline has helped me organize my school, academic, and any personal projects that I might have by helping break down a big project into specific tasks and setting custom deadlines. But before I get into the details, let me introduce to you my great team. My name is Abhitej, and I'm a part of the front-end team for Deadline.
I'm Le, I'm also in the front end, and Katie is our project manager.
Hi, my name is Ayn. I'm from the backend team of Deadline.
My name is Taya. I'm also a part of the backend team.
So why are we here today? From the stats, 36% of college students feel overwhelmed at school, 25% of them feel overwhelming and have poor time management and become a procrastinator, and 54% of them feel like if they got organized, they're gonna have better grades. I'm gonna hand it off to Abhitej to explain why Deadline can solve us these problems.
So all the problems I've listed before can be solved by Deadline. How? Deadline helps us break down a big project, as I said, step by step, and by setting custom deadlines using our own custom algorithm that we came up based on time complexities.
Deadline has easy to comprehend status tracking and collects all of your management tools in one place, unlike other applications such as Trello and Monday.com. And I will hand it off to Lack to discuss our tech stack.
So for languages, we use JavaScript, which is the top language for web development. We also use CSS and HTML to make our website look better. And for the backend, we use Firebase file database and Postman to test and debug our API. While in the front end, we use React Framework and Material UI to code amazing user interfaces. Now I pass it to Anne, who will talk about the challenges that we face.
So while coding our app, we have a lot of challenges. The first challenge we have is to code the algorithm to automatically create schedule based on task complexity. And we do that by references to list scheduling or greedy scheduling. And the second challenge we have is to make sure the design look the same across all versions of the browser. And we do that by testing it out in different dimensional monitors. And the third challenge we have is to optimize library uses and apply the best practices for consistencies.
All right, that was a lot of talking. Now let's get to a live demo. In just a second, we'll have our live demo set up to show the user interface and also how you can import a new project into Deadline. So here you can see our project is ready to deploy. Now let's go ahead and click on the new project button. So let's focus on the fields that ask for importing a project. This is going to be a one-time thing where you just import your project for the first time, ask for your name, when do you want to submit the project, and also a basic description. But now let's focus on the inputs that are what kind of task it is and the complexity. So right now for the live demo, we'll be adding 3 tasks. One is going to be a complexity of 1, the other is going to be a complexity of 3, and the last one is going to be a complexity of 5. In that, we will actually show what the algorithm does and how we are dependent on the complexity to assign task and deadline for each of them. So after clicking on Submit Project, let's go on the calendar view that we also developed ourselves. And as you can see, it automatically assigns deadlines. How it does that is, as you can see, wireframes were complexity 1, so it gives less days. But integration was a higher complexity, and it gives more days. And now I will actually hand it over to Taya to explain how the algorithm actually works and how we came up by it.
Okay, so the first step of the algorithm is to calculate the duration of the project, and then to get the complexity of the project, add all the complexities of the task together. And then to calculate the task percentage, you base it off of the complexity of the task, and then you set the deadline for the task.
And as you can see here, here's an existing project. When you're done adding all your tasks, they will have their own deadline, and we show in the calendar view. In here, you can view it like by month, week, and day, like this. And all the tasks will get connected to the work page as well, where you can keep track on your task status. Like, for example, now I decide to work on presentation prep. I can move it to in process. And then when I'm done with that, I can move it to complete. And I can also keep track of my process by going to the dashboard. In here, I can see like tasks for today, current tasks, and the deadline for the project. When I work in a team, I can see like the work that assigned to me, and I can work with GitHub. And as you can see, the project is like 30% done. And we also have 2 options, like if you want to slow things down or speed things up. So I pass it to Anne to talk about how are we improving deadline in the future.
So in the future, we want to use machine learning to help with planning and picking deadlines. We also want to integrate Deadline with GitHub and external application. And we want to develop Deadline into a mobile app, and we want to improve better user influence.
All right, that being said, we do appreciate all the judges and everyone viewers who came out today and helped us to present. We also would like to thank our industry mentor, Alex, for helping us from day one and any problems that have come through. And if there are any questions, comments, and concerns, we'd love to address those. But before that, I would like to say one thing. If you're short on time, use Deadline. Thank you.
Just a quick comment. There's nothing in the deadline or the complexity that says one is more complex or less complex, and there's no range. So you don't really provide cues about what's going on there.
Yes, sir. So I think we can, we're going to include that in our form where you actually import a new project. And you can see that once we'll give a range from 1 to 5, and we can import and customize the algorithm accordingly.
Okay, in the import, but yeah, not in the enter.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Did you have any issues that the team had to work through? I mean, maybe not just technical, but being a team, such a large team behind a Zoom screen. How was that for your semester?
I can start, and if anyone wants to add, because I know we all have individual experiences. So I feel like getting to know my teammates first was a really good step, just because we all got comfortable working together. And then once we did get comfortable, it was just a matter of getting tasks done. Our project manager helped us a lot by assigning and just walking us through a lot of tutorials. And once we did get that, we had a good chemistry going on, and we were able to challenge some of our big problems and challenges together.
Sounds great. Good job, guys.
Thank you. Any audience questions? I guess not, but if you all have any questions, then you can message us on Instagram. We also have a page, so we will be more than happy to address any questions there as well.
Awesome. That is all the time we do have for questions, but because that's a Instagram barcode on the screen, so pass them there. Next up, we have Excite.
All right. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, cool. All right. So let me start off by, we'd like to introduce ourselves. And let me start off by introducing myself. This is Hamad Khan.
I'm Hamad Said.
I'm Evan Roman.
And we are excited. I know you're excited to hear about our project. So let me start off by asking you a question. How long has it been since we have all had an adventure? With current affairs, exploring the outside world has become harder than ever. However, this is no longer the case with Excite, a mobile app assisting our return to regular life. After months of isolation, users will be able to see, plan, and experience all the amazing opportunities around them. Tailored to each user's needs, Excite sets up entire day plans which guarantee fun, leisure, and of course, excitement. If you have been inside for so long, not sure where to go, what to do, don't worry. Excite has you covered. And now my teammate will go through the features of our product. Take it away, Ahmad.
Thank you, Hamad. On its homepage, Excite provides the user with several new and known places around them. They could choose to pick an event in the provided list, or they can use Excite's generate schedule feature by selecting the types of events they want to attend in the order that they want to attend them. Excite uses an event chaining algorithm which not only ensures that the user does not have to travel long distances between events, but it also exposes the user to a larger option of events. Tapping on one of the displayed cards provides the user with details of the place such as rating, cost, distance, and so on. Excite also allows the user to visually locate the events around them through its Maps feature. Now we'll present to you a demo. The homepage displays a list of several nearby events of predefined categories such as restaurants, museums, tourist attractions, and so on. By tapping an events card, you may obtain its information, which is laid out in a very simple and easy to understand manner. In case you're unaware or confused about what to do, you can make use of Excite's generate schedule feature. This prompts you to choose the types of events you want picked for your schedule. The user-friendly UI depicts the order and frequency of the events picked. Hitting generate calls an event chaining algorithm that randomly picks events of the types chosen by the user in the order that they were chosen and displays them in cards that contain quick, handy information on them. You could visually locate each event by tapping the map icon on the top right of your schedule. The red markers indicate each event, and tapping it will expose you to that page. And now I'll let Houston explain the tech stack.
So for our app, we use the React Native and Expo frameworks because of their great performance on mobile devices and the ability to develop for both iOS and Android at the same time without any extra effort. To get our events, we use the Google Place API because of its vast catalog of places and the ability to filter places by type, which is a crucial part of our schedule generator. Finally, we made use of Google Firebase system to manage user authentication and other data handling operations. Now, Evan will talk about our competitors.
Thank you, Houston. So as for our competitors, we have TripAdvisor and Trivago, but these are more geared towards long-distance vacations. Our app does have the ability to find locations far away, but it is mainly used for local places. Around Me is a direct competitor, but it seems to be limited. Users have complained that the information provided is out of date and seems to provide the same location for each use. It also provides irrelevant locations, sometimes giving businesses that have been gone for years. Also, Around Me does not have the capability to generate a schedule filled with events. Now I would talk about some of the challenges that we face during our development. Our framework setup was somewhat difficult. We were using React Native for the entire app at first, but we kept missing important files when starting the app. So we changed to Expo to handle the complexities of React Native, acting as an interface to it. The map was difficult to implement, especially since we had to integrate it near the end of development. However, We really wanted to be part of our original plans because we felt that the app was better with it. The Google Maps API did not work with our existing calls, but we resolved this by using React Native Maps. We then used the coordinates of each location to provide these places on the map. The Google API is not perfect. It still depends on business owners and Google to get updated information. However, the Google API is still the best API out there due to its excellent data that Google can provide. Also, we see our competitor around me has issues with their API calls, likely because they do not update it. And now Houston will talk about future plans.
So for future plans, we plan to implement an interactive calendar so users can schedule future events in advance and view them in an organized way. We also plan to implement artificial intelligence through Google Cloud AI to make event recommendations that better reflect the interests of each individual user. Finally, we plan to add monetization by allowing business owners to pay to have their businesses promoted in the app. And with that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you so much for listening. We now open up the floor to any questions.
If I understood you correctly, when you select the different categories, I thought I heard you say that it randomly picks things that are nearby. Is that correct?
Correct. So the point of the generate schedule feature will generate a random schedule for each user if they don't want to decide. So they pick what types of place they want to go and in the order, and then the generate schedule button, the algorithm will create a schedule for them using the event chaining algorithm, which will randomly pick event places that are close to each other. For example, so each event is going to be in a certain radius of the previous event, which means that you never have to walk too far or go too far between different events. It keeps them all close by.
Okay, that makes sense.
Are you able to provide feedback into the app, or if you went to the barbecue place and it was horrible, right? Can you exit out or write a note in the app to just kind of remember your experience?
We don't currently have that implemented, but that would actually be a good addition, and we will take that into consideration to add it to our future plans. Thank you.
Sure. But great guys, great job. And I appreciate that you guys all have a tie on. I love the matching look. Looks good.
All right, if there are no more questions, we'll go ahead and move on to last but not least, Frais.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed all the excellent presentations tonight. My name is Justin, and I'm on the front-end team for our project, Frais. Before we continue, I would like to give the rest of the team a chance to introduce themselves.
Thank you, Justin. How's it going, guys? Frais. I've worked on the front-end team alongside Justin for Frais.
Hey guys, my name is Rafe. I work on the back-end team for Frais.
Hey, and I'm David, and I also work on the back-end team for Frais. I'll go ahead and pass it over to Shrey so we can get an overview of our app.
Thank you, David. So what is Frais, you might ask? Frais is a mobile application developed by the 4 lovely people we've got on this team, and it utilizes a machine learning algorithm to help its users determine the freshness of their produce. So as you can see, we've split up this process into 4 main parts. First, the user has an option to either take a picture through the UI camera, or they can upload it locally from their device. And then this input goes through a machine learning process, which spits out some data, which we then clean up and output to help the user determine both the type of fruit that was inputted and how fresh that fruit is. And then if the input was valid, then it gets stored in the fridge page where the user can navigate and get some more information about the input. And back to David for tech stack.
Yeah, thanks, Shrey. So we chose to use Flutter for our framework for the front end because there's a bunch of powerful widgets that streamline the design process for our UI. And another thing with Flutter is that it's really easy to make the app cross-compatible. So we just thought it was a good choice. And then for the back end, we chose to use Python, partly because of its good documentation, but also because it has a TensorFlow Python library. which is what we use to create and train our convolutional neural network, which essentially just takes image and label pairs to learn how to label other images. After about 10,000 training images, it was successfully able to label 91% of 2,000 test images. And we also use that library to convert the full-fledged TensorFlow model into a TensorFlow Lite model. Because we needed a TensorFlow Lite model, we could have it run on a mobile device. And lastly, we went ahead chose Firebase for our database because it was a simple choice. And now I'll hand it back to Shrey to show a demo of how our app works.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so demo. You can see on the leftmost GIF, we've got our home page, which is also going to be our camera page. And as you can see, we've walked up to a virtual cat and tried taking a picture of it to determine its freshness, which is an invalid input, obviously. Cat's not a fruit. So we prompt the user by telling them that, hey, your input's invalid. And then to the right of it, you can see our fridge page where we're going to have different bins for different types of fruits that have been inputted. So for example, if you input a orange, it's going to be stored there. You can click on it to get some more information about that orange. We've also stored a banana, as you can see in a little bit there. And then to the right of that, we've got our image picker functionality, which lets the user upload an image locally from their device. And as you can see, we're picking a banana there, which is in fact rotten. So we go ahead and output that.
Right, so we had a lot of fun developing this app. However, we encountered some challenges. The first challenge we encountered was actually our database, or our Firebase. So it took us a lot more time than expected to implement the code within the front end and back end code with the database. The second challenge we had was actually our TensorFlow Lite model. Our original TensorFlow model was had a lot of code and had a lot of math involved and had a very high accuracy rating. However, when we converted that to a TF Lite model, it wasn't as accurate as we wanted it to be. So we had to go back and rework a little bit, and that also took a good amount of time. Lastly, our data set, our custom data set was a bit of a problem. So originally we wanted to have our own custom data set so we could have multiple data sets of fruits. However, taking thousands of pictures of fruits would take a lot of time. So we had to go to online and find limited data sets of certain fruits, which limited our produce options. With that being said, we have some future goals. So the first future goal we have is actually creating user accounts. With user accounts, we can implement some advanced features within our app. We also have this option called group freshness. And basically, if you take a picture of a bunch of fruits together, it tells you the individual rating for each fruit. And lastly, like I mentioned in our roadblock, we want to have a larger data set that supports more produces so we can have more options.
While working on this app, our group came up with many ways to potentially monetize this application. The idea that we finally settled on was to do this. First, collect user metadata such as location, time, date, etc. from pictures uploaded from our users. And then due to ethical concerns, we would like to anonymize all the personally identifying information from our users. After doing that, we would then classify this information into categories, for example, average freshness index or average time to expiration. We would then sell this anonymized information to businesses so that they can see how their grocery suppliers stack up with competitors in the area, ultimately giving our users better produce. Wrapping up, Frais is an app that will help make your life healthier and allow you to better keep track of and select good fresh produce to nourish your body.
With that being said, any questions?
So what's your algorithm to determine freshness?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes, what's your algorithm for determining freshness?
Right now, our model just simply tells the user if the fruit is fresh or if it's rotten.
Well, also to add to that, our model was trained using a data set on a website called Kaggle. And Kaggle is just a website that uploads data sets that are tagged. And in this case, our data set was tagged fresh, not fresh. And that's how our machine learning model was able to learn what is fresh and what's not.
I would suggest that there are fruits, for example, grapefruit, where you cannot tell by just looking at them, melons as well. So there are a lot of holes in the idea Yeah, I mean, machine learning can only go so far with this one. Any thoughts on addressing any of that?
Maybe leaving some instructions like that can help the user know like how to determine the freshness of the grape. So like we can go through some tutorials online, say give like a little tip saying, hey, although our machine learning algorithm can't like determine the freshness of this product, maybe you can determine it yourself. Like I believe like watermelons, you like tap it to like hear like certain like cues to see how fresh it is. But yeah.
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 And the other thing, of course, then it would have to be usable in a, say, a grocery store. Take a picture of this. Yeah. Okay. So your response time then needs to be very fast.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is it?
It is, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So since the model is actually within the app itself, within seconds, like less than a second, it'll let you know if it's fresh or not.
Okay.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Well, I will wait for Jack to start sharing his screen again.
How do I stop sharing? Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so that's all the presentations we have tonight. Judges, if I can ask you to double check your rubrics to make sure all the team scores are filled out, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And before we discuss team placements, we will announce the awards to be handed out. So each member of the team placing first will receive a $20 gift card for Amazon, and each member of the team placing second will receive a $15 gift card for Amazon. Additionally, we will have a people's choice where people in the YouTube comments go ahead and vote on their favorite choice. There's no official award or prize for that, but it's a special shout out to those who really impressed the YouTube crowd. And additionally, the criteria for judging included collaboration, visual design, innovation, demo action, and presentation effect.
All right, and I just dropped the link in chat for the survey. So if you're watching in the YouTube chat, you can vote, and that's how we will determine the people's favorite. So we're going to take some time to count up the votes and to watch that survey. And so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back when we have the results for you.
In the meantime, we will go ahead and put Jack and the judges in a room to deliberate a bit, and then I will play some music.
All right, sorry about that. I got like a bunch of tabs open, and I got Zoom open on two different computers. So, so for those of you who are in ACM or who are ACM members in the chat, we're going to be putting a check-in link in the YouTube chat. So if you want to check in, go ahead and do that there. Just a reminder that the student who attends the most ACM events this semester will be getting swag sent to them. So let us know that you're here. So that's what the check-in link is for. Yes, okay. So the check-in link has been put into the YouTube chat. So awesome.
All right, on to the big moment. So the People's Choice Award winner is Deadline. Congratulations, guys. You did a great presentation and everyone voted in favor of you. Your hard work really paid off. And next up, we have our second place Projects Award winner, which is ArtBlock. Congratulations. Even with the delay and everything, your demo was really something that paid off. And now we will announce the first place winner. So the winner of Spring 2021 ACM Projects is GoHire. Congratulations. If your team didn't place, don't be discouraged because you all did an incredible job, gave amazing presentations, and created awesome apps. So please be very proud of your work. We saw all your efforts culminate through the entire semester. Even from your mock presentations, we could tell a huge improvement in just the past few weeks alone, let alone a 10-week program that you guys all have finally completed. So congratulations to you all for overcoming all of this, especially doing it all virtually. I hope you guys are super proud of all your work.
All right, before we go, we got to embarrass some PMs. We'd like to say goodbye to some longtime project officers who are leaving after this semester.
These officers are Sam, David, Katie, Adam, and Ashish.
Anyone who's ever interacted with these PMs will tell you how amazing they all are. They've done so much for their teams and their fellow officers over the past several semesters. There's no doubt that their time here will have a huge and positive impact on ACM projects as a whole.
They've been with us through thick and thin for 3 or more semesters, including the crazy transition from in-person to online. So we're wishing you all the happiness in whatever you do beyond projects, whether that's internships, whether it's graduating, or anything else. So thank you guys for all your hard work.
All right, and on behalf of all of ACM projects, we thank you for being here and coming out tonight. Special thank you again to the judges and our industry mentors this semester. We hope you enjoyed seeing what the teams have accomplished this semester. And with that being said, we will conclude the presentation right here. Have a great night, everybody, and stay safe because I think the weather's getting kind of rough tonight.